Well, today we have the pleasure to have Tomek Duda from Ladder. Duda, and just before we start, it's just like he has an amazing sentence on his LinkedIn that I would like to share. And it's like, your business isn't based upon someone clicking on an ad. Your strategy shouldn't be either. Power your growth with 1,000 tactics that increase ROI across the entire operation. What happens when you combine machine learning with millions of dollars spent while working thousands of hours, growing hundreds of businesses like yours? You get marketing success rate 300% better than your business. Well, man, this is like, I love it. Dollars, machine learning, thousands plus 300. Welcome here to growth marketing. Thank you very much for being here, Thomas.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, Tomek, and just also before we were talking about how is a company, well, it's a few things, but let me first, what's your background?
My background, I finished in Economic University, international business. Then I moved into marketing because I was looking to do something with the new technologies and was really, really curious about the data side of things. So I moved into digital marketing with my first jobs, and that's how I finally founded my own agency that later became a part of Ladder.
Wonderful. And how long since you built your agency until it became part of Ladder? How long it took?
8 months, actually. That was pretty quick.
8 months, man. We have another guest that spent like 12 years. 8 months is like, fuck, this is like before you were a father of a baby. You were like,
yep.
How did you do it?
Basically, we started doing this in Poland because there was nobody else doing growth marketing around here. And eventually we found that we need some kind of a product in order to help us with the management of all the growth that's going on with the project, the assets, what is going live, what are the hypotheses and all. And we started looking for a tool and eventually stumbled upon Ladder, where my co-founder, Adam, got on a call with Mike, the COO and co-founder of Ladder. They got talking. They found out that a lot of the things that we do at Growth Engine and what we do at Ladder are very similar. We follow the same hypotheses, the same technique. We read the same blog post from Brian Balfour, and eventually they're like, hey, maybe you guys can start working with us. Maybe we can hire some of your people to work on our clients. So we did that, and actually their product team was literally sitting 2 desks away from us in the same co-working space in Wrocław.
And it was just out of chance?
Yeah, 100%. 2 very different agencies, 2 different parts of the world, because they started in New York, then they've expanded to London, and we were in Wrocław, Poland. And it's just by chance that their developers, their product team was sitting 2 desks away from us. And that's how we got talking. Over time, we started doing more and more things together, even leading them as white label clients. So I was working as a Ladder strategist before I was at Ladder, and we're leading their clients. And eventually they came in with an offer and we accepted it. Been one big happily ever since. And that happened the end of January last year.
Woohoo! Congratulations, man. I love it.
Thanks.
I have a good friend here. You probably know Matt from Woodpecker.
Yeah, of course. We work with Woodpecker.
Yeah, we love Woodpecker. We used to use Woodpecker before, which I think is an amazing tool and an amazing, like, everyone behind there. And also I knew sometimes Write Hello guys, which they used to be very powerful. I think now they're going like not so strong.
Yeah.
But, you know, I heard the story from Matt who sold a tool very fast as well about building some, I don't remember, it was like a designer's thing. And how often is like the US comes to Poland and buys some companies? Because I think there's a lot of good technicians down there.
We are very technical, that's true. And especially in Wrocław, where we have a very big technical university, you can even find a software house, a dev shop at literally every street around here. Very, very technical crowd, and also a lot of good talent for technical marketing. That's why we're happy to be in Wrocław to have this opportunity to work with the great people that we were able to hire and train up.
And I remember when I went for the Wolf Summit.
Wolf Summit?
Yeah, I think a few years ago. And I remember I met some guys and they were saying like, we do have a lot of call centers here, which people doesn't even know where they are. And also, and Plus the technicians here, they're not cheap. No, we're not talking about cheap. Like no.
Oh no, they got quite spoiled in my opinion.
Yeah, and
The
it's
market is so difficult now.
it's funny because they say if you are not like programmer from any startup, it goes like any like normal salary from 3K to 5K a month. I mean, for us European Spanish, we get like I don't know 2 to 3, 4, obviously more than that. But I don't know, in Poland that's a lot of money, much more than in Spain, and it's true, isn't it? Life as a programmer in Warsaw, it's amazing.
Yeah, in Poland, and it's not just Poland, but the fact is that we've got a lot of technical people and a very high percentage of people that speak English. So that's very helpful for the Western companies that usually are the ones that hire those services, that buy those companies that come to Poland for that. But it's also very popular in Belarus, Romania, Ukraine. Like Romania and Belarus have amazing tax systems for IT companies with 1% or 0% tax. So we didn't get that far in Poland, but nonetheless, there's tons of technical talent around here. And definitely the salaries have skyrocketed. And the thing is that market is broken because people prefer to switch companies to get a raise in order, compared to getting a 5-10% raise year over year in the same company. And the market is broken because companies are okay with that, even though the cost of hiring a developer is in thousands of dollars. Then onboarding them, another thousands of dollars. So it's literally broken, and people benefit from it nevertheless because there's so much demand that they can do it anyway.
Yeah, what you're saying about the race here in Barcelona, we have this. I think we're still having like the old type of person. We're Latins, we're Spaniards, and I think thanks God to the US hasn't got our hand in here, you know. That we are Spain is famous for sangria and siesta, not from fuck man, it's true. I'm sorry to say, you know. And
I've lived there, I know.
What you were living in where about? Barcelona?
I lived in Madrid for half a year.
Oh, wonderful, man. What you doing, Erasmus or something like that?
Of course. What else? I met my girlfriend in Madrid too. We're still together.
You still together?
Yeah, and she was actually from Poland, and we met in Madrid. Yeah.
Oh, okay. She was a Polish. I thought you speak a little bit of Spanish. Well, you do speak a little bit of Spanish.
A little bit, yes, but I don't want to.
No, we're not going for it. We're not going for it. Tell me about the Ladder. Now, Ladder is a software that helps companies to increase revenue. If you can explain us a little bit more about it, and anyone in the group get benefit of it.
So basically, we're two different things. We are a services company, and we're a software as a service. So to start with services, what we do is basically help companies grow through digital channels. And we are channel agnostic. So we choose the right channel based on the given needs on the market, on the past data that we get from an audit, from competitive analysis, from our experience working with similar clients in the past. And we choose the right channels in order to help the given client grow, because there's no such thing as one size fits all. You always have to come up with an individual approach to the given client, because that's the only way you're going to make a difference. If we were to offer the same thing, the same 3, 5, 10 tactics to every single client, that would not work in a million years, because it's just not feasible. So we help companies by growing with different channels, by acquiring traffic, converting the traffic, and optimizing that traffic in order to bring the conversions and basically reach the goals that they put in front of us, or even help them establish those goals. Because very often companies know they want to grow, but they don't exactly know what that growth means. What kind of numbers are behind it? What kind of budgets? What kind of CPA are they looking for? What kind of volume? Or even understand the trade-off between volume and efficiency. So we're there for both the consultancy and helping them figure it out, proposing how we're going to get to that point that we've established is the goal, and doing all the execution, showing them what we do, putting a hypothesis in front of them to say, okay, we're trying to validate that channel, that audience, that given creative line, that copy, that USP about your product or service through ads on Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, through a landing page, through making sure we get data on what works, what doesn't, and why, so that we can understand what should we do next. What is the next iteration? How is the next sprint going to bring us closer to achieving that goal, to getting the growth that they are looking for, that they are paying us for?
I love it. And sorry,
Go on, go pose a question.
I love it because it's something that I'm seeing a lot coming up, and we do have the same problem, and it's SaaS as a service. 1 second, they just call me and they just fuck me up the system. Okay, now YouTube gone on. Okay, sorry about that. Well, I was just going to say, I'm seeing a lot about SaaS as a service, and I don't know how to describe it. I've seen a lot of few companies that have their own amazing product, but also they're doing service with their own amazing product.
Yeah.
What were you in the company when they decided to go doing services, or it was some decision that they took from beginning?
The basic thought through Ladder was that Mike, the co-founder and COO, and the visionary behind the software, thought that he wants to automate marketing strategy. Therefore, he wanted to build a product. In order to fund the product came the services in order to get the money and get the ball rolling. And that's eventually become sort of two pillars of Ladder. So the product team working on the software and the services team working with the clients that are bringing the money, so that in the long run, we can become both services and product company. While we're doing services, we do focus on using our own product in order to do the reporting, the optimization, to see what works, what doesn't, to organize it all in one place as well.
Yeah, we do have the same thing here, and we are our best customers on FindThatLead. And we design the campaigns, because in the beginning we used to use Bootpacker. It became like, oh guys, we need a lot of features. We were asking like integrations, like fuck it, let's build our own little tool. Then we were doing, and it's funny because I think the product becomes more robust. And I don't know, what do you think about that? If you are your best customer, it's like a better product itself.
Yeah, we are our own product's biggest customer, and we're the biggest advocate for the product as well. And we're starting to sell it. We even have companies that are reselling our product, agencies and other companies of such sort that are helping us distribute the product and to get into the different hands and to see having it in front of more eyes. But at the same time, we're using it with our own clients where we do the setup, where we show them how it works, where we give them the access to see all the data. Because the thing is, we're all about transparency, and the clients can access the software at any point to see what kind of numbers are there available, what is doing well, what is not doing well, ask the relevant questions or propose solutions to those problems in order for us to do what we're supposed to do, so drive the growth. Because at the end of the day, we're on the same team. We're trying to help the client achieve the growth that they're looking for so that they are happy with our services, stay our client for a long time, and keep on paying and referring us new clients, because that's the business goal behind the software, behind the services at Ladder.
Yeah, and in a way, I love it because we do the same. But do you think like if we would focus more on the product, our product will go like much higher instead of services?
Yeah, I think that once you focus on one thing and not two things at the same time, you always get better, because basically you just do one thing very well instead of doing two things mediocrely usually.
Yeah, we do, like I say, we do them very well, but instead of putting the reforce, because we, sometimes with my Christian Vital, my co-founder, is like, okay, Christian, shall we stop doing the agency work? Well, it pays good money, man, but fuck it, and it's a decision that it's obviously, it's as it goes, but we believe it slows down a little bit the growth of FindThatLead as a automated tool, stuff like this. But, and then it brings the money. But, it's like, we decided here. I think it was 3 years that we were saying, no, to any company who came to us with money and say, okay, we want to buy a product from you. It's like, Because in a way, it's like, if we use all these growth strategies that you do with Ladder or FindThatLead to implement to ourselves, we will grow as they grow our customers in a way, isn't it?
Yep.
It's just, I'm throwing this because it's thoughts that I have sometimes in my mind, and just good sharing. One other question. how is, if you would say, what's the best way of promotion in what using as the customers? Is it Facebook, Google, LinkedIn? If you can give me some examples on what works and what will not work.
Yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of companies are looking for one silver bullet, that they're still like tempted by the idea of growth hacking, where this one single thing is gonna make them grow 100% month over month. Well, they often bring up the story of Airbnb
Oh,
or
nice one.
Dropbox. Yeah, they're great growth stories, but most of the
Yeah,
people do not
stories.
see the whole story in itself. I like to compare it to an iceberg. They only see the summit, the top of it, the thing that's above the water. They don't see the part of it that's below the water. So, for example, with Dropbox, not too many people know that there were several hundred different experiments that they've run before they've come up with this great tactic of referral program that gave more space to both the person referring and the referred person. And people only see that because, yeah, success is the thing that most people like to read about and learn from. But the thing is, in order to understand the success, you need to know how was that company able to get there in the first. Yeah.
Yeah, in the first place. Yeah.
In the first place, exactly. And therefore, what we do is we propose to our clients that they don't just focus on one huge tactic, like, for example, Airbnb with their Craigslist hack and how they've got the customers through the API, all that story. Because the more experiments you run, the faster and easier you're going to find what works, what doesn't, and be able to grow it and leverage it in order to learn about your users, learn about the USP that really resonates with them, the creative line that really works well for conversions. So that's why we mostly use nowadays Facebook and Google Ads, because they've got the most capability of targeting different people, as well as a very, very big audience, where Facebook is even more powerful than Google. That's why we do majority of our traffic acquisition, because this is not about coming up with this one hack that we're going to do in 6 months. It's about running tens of experiments every month, every quarter, and get closer with every single one of them by having a conclusion. Okay, this works. This is why I think it works. But what are we going to do next? What conclusion, what insight do I have about this audience because of that? How can I go deeper into that? Should I invest more money into this? And at the end of the day, the growth that we see is still much more structured and much more systematic, because thanks to the whole methodology and the system that we use with the high tempo testing, we are able to finally go step by step. And even though only 30 to 35% of our experiments are successful, this is 3 times above the market average, according to Harvard Business Review, which once said that about 10% of experiments across the industry are successful. And by using our own framework and our own software, we're able to achieve that goal. And basically, we've run over 7,000 experiments already for over 200 companies since the beginning of Ladder. So using that is just a basic advantage that you can use by doing what works and scaling what works.
Wonderful. Let's say I'm an agency, or I am, let's say, FindThatLead. What are the steps that I need to before I start using Ladder?
You should probably know exactly what you want to achieve, because, or at least be able to have an open conversation where you learn about your company, things that you didn't know before. So be comfortable taking that kind of feedback from people that do not know your company that well, but might have very strong opinions based on the data you've gathered, or exactly know how much you are ready to spend, what kind of goals you're looking to achieve in terms of, for example, seat cost per acquisition, or that you want to increase volume. So having an exact goal, for example, of just having a budget of, say, $100,000 a month and optimizing from 100 conversions to 500 conversions over the next 3, 5, 6, 10 months is something that, okay, we can work with that, because there's previous data that we can use. If you don't have much previous data, we can only guess, and guessing is never really the right way. Like, grow without guesswork, our own motto.
I guess the customers that you get is people who spend like $1 million something a year with publishing
No,
stuff like this.
that depends. That ranges. We have clients that spend $5,000 a month. We have clients that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and that depends, of course, on their capabilities, or maybe on the size of the project. Maybe it's going to grow over time. And we're working with all the clients in between. So from small startups that have an idea of where they're going, some kind of product market fit, because with that product market fit, we're only going to be able to tell you, okay, there's the product market fit and we tried it, and the customers are not just not using a product. All the to small and medium businesses that already have something going, established product or service, that know exactly in which direction they want to follow, all the way to huge companies like Monzo or Booking.com.
I love it. And I was just writing some startups. I guess your best customers are some startups or digital companies who they've grown to big companies. And I guess it's mainly digital, who has an amazing budget to spend, or who has raised a lot of money. I guess what you said, Booking, well, it's a well established, but I'm very sure you have a few other success stories. What about B2B? Is it B2B good for Instagram, Facebook? Or it's B2B needs to be content, Google, backlinking?
That's the long run that they should look into, of course. But once clients come on board, they're always looking, when are the results going to come? Okay, I want to see what's happening. And backlinking and content are definitely not going to show that, even in the first 2-3 months. So yeah, B2B, we do work with a lot of B2B companies that are looking to acquire more qualified leads. And we use, for example, Google, LinkedIn, conversion rate optimization on their website, building landing pages, and testing new combinations of the funnel. So multi-touch funnels. So for example, we acquire the awareness of the user on a certain channel, then we maintain it via, for example, email, and then we convert them via another channel like Google, for example. And then we know exactly the touch points within the given funnel to be able to optimize towards the right conversion rate, the right cost of the conversion, in order to show where exactly in the funnel is it leaking, what should we work on, where's the biggest opportunity, because the data is going to tell you everything at the end of the day, as long as you measure it and map it out in a smart way so that you know exactly from week to week, what progress are we making? Where are we now? Where have you been a month ago? And where are we going to be a month from now? What kind of things are we going to do in order to get there? Those ideas are coming from the team as well as from the client, because nobody knows their product or service better than the client themselves. So we use them a lot when it comes to the entire growth process, because they've got tons of experience that we just don't want to miss out on.
I love when you say measure it. And I guess a lot of measurement comes with a lot of pain about really seeing, fuck, I spent so long time in here and it's just like being wasted. And we are happy to say, or we are very unhappy to say, we do not do that on FindThatLead yet. And when you say these words, it's like, fuck, man. Tomek, you're going to laugh about that, but I do not check any fucking Google Analytics or anything.
Oh, what am I doing here? Wow.
No, it's good. That's why I have these sessions. It's like, fuck, man. We're very lucky. We have like a steady growth. It's going very well, but it's like, we do a lot of hacks. I would say we do a lot of experiments. Incorrect. Hacks, not experiments. Crazy amount. We do analyze it through the MRR. Has the MRR increased? But this is very fucking. I don't want to. We're 8 guys. Whenever we could grow, it's something that I'm going to spend. Do you remember when the first month of your company? How was it?
It was intense. Totally intense.
Okay.
I had no idea what was going on, because I was having my hands in so many different jars that definitely intense is the right word. But yeah. Actually, right now we're 45 people across 4 locations. So definitely different problems at this stage than what it was beforehand. But yeah, I totally get what you mean. With an 8-person team, hustling it every day, right?
Yeah, for us, it's like, okay, what's easy for us? Okay, sending emails to different countries, China, Brazil, blah, 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 letting new users. That's it. And it's like, okay, has increased the MRR? Yes. fuck it, let's go, let's keep doing it, you know? And that's the way we've been doing now. I'm not saying it's correct, but it's probably an easy excuse. Tomek, now that you have like more contact with the USA, is it growth hacking bad? Is growth marketing better? But we were going to go to growth experimenting. Okay, just the meaning of the word. Is it growth hacking? Does it sound bad in the US, or is growth marketing sounds better?
We do not use growth hacking anymore because there are
Exactly.
basically so many people that claim to be the growth hacker, that to know exactly how to grow a given company, or just claim to have a great case study, where we do not believe in one bullet, single silver bullet companies or experts. We prefer in a system and a framework that is going to bring the growth time over and over and over again, because it is scalable, it is repeatable, and we can adjust it according to the given company, and that it works. It works for e-commerce, it works for B2B, for mobile apps, for SaaS, for big companies, for smaller companies. We've been able to use the same process with startups as with booking, for example. And that actually was our biggest advantage in being able to scale the same thing that we're doing across different companies and just use the same approach, being very channel agnostic, full funnel, and very open to what we can do with a given client based on their needs, based on the things that we find online as ideas that we can actually do in order to bring us towards that goal that they've put in front of us, and making sure that we're on the right path and just measuring it, keep measuring it.
I love, and you know, the group was called Growth Hacking and About Marketing, and we changed it because we were like, growth hacking, fuck, that's like, a lot of people from the US was not accepting it. In Europe, Spain, it's like growth hacking is the same as growth marketing. That's why we changed it now. It's growth marketing and Abound, which is, you know, but I guess it's going to go more like just like growth experimentation, something like this, which is in the end of the day is what you do. Let's say once you have an experiment that works, it's like, okay, A, B profiles with this, what do you do? Then you go for, you give it to your customers, and what does your customer do? Go and do a raise $1 million and then just spend the $1 million on that ad, something like this? If you can give me some examples for an experiment.
Yeah, sure. So basically we use a smaller budget for a given experiment in order to figure out if it works at all. So that if it doesn't, which there is a big chance of, we do not waste too much time or too much budget, because nobody wants that at the end of the day, other than Mark Zuckerberg, because he's earning money from our ad spend. So we spend, for example, $500 or $1,000 on a given experiment. Once we see that it takes off, that it works, that there are positive results, or that it shows promise, that it needs some tweaking, then we just basically tweak it, let it run even longer to gather more data, to have a statistically relevant amount of data in order to be able to tell, okay, we have a 95% chance, statistical relevance, that this is actually the winning result and that we can invest more in it. So we add, once we've already confirmed that this is working, then we trying to figure out why is it working? Why is this better than B or C or D? Then, of course, we're going to invest more money into it. That's a no-brainer. But also try to figure out what other options can we come to from the idea that, okay, if the picture with a cat, for example, works very well, how can we go deeper into it? Maybe different cat species, maybe a dog, maybe a ferret, maybe a parrot, maybe some other animal that is going to work, but just basically have those ideas flowing. So we always have a backlog of experiments we can run and keep on testing. And like, for example, when it comes to a ad group on Facebook, so we test 2 or 3 different ads at the same time, because that's the best according to the best practices for Facebook. And we leave the ad that is most effective and put on 2 new ads with one element that's changed, so that we know exactly what is affecting the change between different ads. Maybe the creative, maybe the CTA, maybe the copywriting, maybe the landing page, whatever that is, we change one element at a time in order to figure out what's changing, how is it working better. and keep on experimenting, keep on finding what works. And if it works, scale it, move more money towards that. Try to do it across more channels, or apply that idea on the landing page, apply that idea on a website, in an email, wherever it's applicable. If we see that it's working on one channel, we also try to come up with an idea, how are we going to make it work across a wider area?
I love it. And, nailing the experiment, making sure it works, and then following why it's working. One question and I have, and this is like a problem that whenever we go to start a process with a customer, we do not know, like, fuck, what are we going to charge to them? Do you have like a fixed pricing? Do you like charge 3K, 5K to start the project? This is the outcome. Maybe that the experiment doesn't work, maybe, or you go based on the success results.
We have a base fee as well as media spend percentage based on the budgets that we spend, depending, and that depends on the size of the budget, of course. So basically what we tell the clients is that we need at least 3 months in our cooperation in order to show results, because it's impossible to have, for us to come in on the second day and already be saying, okay, this grows, this is growing, this is going great, because we've done so much. It's just impossible, because we have to get familiar with the company, with the product, with how we're going to grow it, how are we going to approach this given problem that's been put in front of us, and how are we going to address it with specific tactics, with what channels are we going to use, what audiences are we going to target, why, what are we going to put in front of them, so what kind of a value proposition, what kind of a graphic design is going to help us do that, what kind of copywriting is going to help us do that, what should be on the landing page. So we look at every single stage between our idea and the customer buying, and what we're going to do in order to make it easier, faster, and cheaper for the client to achieve by testing out different things, but not going too granular. Because, for example, if you have 100 visits on your website a month, an A/B test would take 6 months, for example, in order to validate that hypothesis. So it's better to acquire more traffic by figuring out in the meantime what channels are working, what audiences are working, what ad types are working, and then get that traffic on the website to get more of an idea, how does it work down the funnel, before working from the bottom of the funnel where you have only a few conversions a month, and the data that you have is basically all over the place, and you've got no idea what it means, basically, because it can be meaning one thing or another, but there is no statistical relevance at all, so you cannot trust it. So working from the top of the funnel downwards is the only way to do it, because that's the only way you can actually trust that what you're doing makes sense and that it actually works, and you can confidently say, yes, that works, or no, that doesn't work, but we're going to try A, B, or C, because that's the idea we've got for after this test failing. Because there's no such thing as bad failure. There's just not using the idea from the failure, the insights enough in order to grow and drive forward, because that's the whole idea behind the system.
And it's also based on trust, isn't it, from our customers to decide to go with Ladder, to any agency. After all, we are an agency, and it's the test before to employ someone, and we like to say, okay, guys, this is going to take a year. This is X and Y. Sometimes it's 2K, sometimes it's 5K, and it's something that we work as an agency. It's difficult, man, to give prices, because sometimes it's like, fuck. I know my service is like from $9 to $400. You buy credits, and that's it. Life is perfect. But once in the agency, something that might be easy, it's going to be fucking difficult. It's like, yeah, that's an easy customer, and it's like, oh fuck, we fucked it up, man. And it has happened, I guess, to you as well, guys.
Oh yeah. I mean, we try to make sure that the clients that we start working with go through the sales process and know exactly what to expect, so that they are comfortable with the feeling that not everything is going to work. It's not going to be just unicorns and rainbows from day one through to day 101, because they have to be ready to fail and learn, and open with an idea of that we're going to learn a lot, and they need to have an open head and trust that we know what we're doing, and that we are having the same goal as they have, which is growing their company, increasing the numbers that they need to be increased, whether it's the quality, whether it's the quantity, whether it's the volume, basically making sure that they are trusting the idea that we're the same team, because if they succeed, we succeed. And that is very important. But when they see things that are working well, and that's why we always want to focus on the low-hanging fruits in the beginning, the moment they see things going well in the first 3, 4, 5 weeks, it gets much, much easier, because the trust is much stronger at that point, because basically they know, all right, like we can calm down. This is going well. The bar is going up. The results are there. Ladder knows their shit.
And also, has it happened to you that you had to fire customers?
Of course, it's always the case, but there may be just some unrealistic expectations that were not able to be caught during the sales process, but it happens everywhere, I guess.
It happens, yeah, it happens to us as well. You know, we start about the process like, fuck, it's going to go amazing. You send the first 100 emails like, fuck, it's got zero answer. Yeah. And do you do any outbound for your customers, or is basically inbound everything? Is all ads?
No, we didn't even do outbound for ourselves, our own marketing yet. We get almost all our leads through our blog. So highly recommend that.
Yeah, that's actually very nice. You know, for 3-4 years, we had a blog that I think someone in somewhere lost in Siberia was doing for us. And then it's like, okay, let's do some work on SEO. And we're getting a few thousand, I think it's like 8,000 visitors for the last 3 months. I'm like, wow, this is actually working.
Yeah.
And do you have any recommendation? I think you're doing amazing, great. I think everyone please go to ladder.io and then just check what happens once you come into the website. Just that you have to download an amazing. Tell me a little bit the process. What is it, and how good is how is the process, if you want to explain, and what's worth it about? You download the expert of the guide, and is it you get a lot of leads from that? Do you send people to those landings and stuff?
Yeah, we get a lot of leads through our content, because people usually come through a first stage of the funnel through our content. Truthfully, it's because it's very technical, very to the point. I even heard people saying that they don't want to share our content with their friends because it's their competitive advantage about them. Because we're very transparent about our work, how we work, and with the ways that we drive the growth that we do, and are very outright with it on our blog. So we're transparent on that part. We're transparent with the clients on the fact that some things are working, some things are not working. And we keep on testing. We keep on testing the types of content. We keep on testing the ways that we promote the content, or how do we get the leads from the content itself. So the lead magnets, so the ebooks, any kind of guides that we have that are helping. But SEO over time has been an incredible engine for our growth. And basically, our content calendar is built around making sure that we regularly deliver very valuable and interesting content to the users, not just the search engine, because at the end of the day, it has to be user-friendly and making sure that there is value in it, not just saying the same thing 10 other blogs already wrote about a year ago or 5 years ago, but actually going in depth on subjects that we know about, that we're working on, that we've had great experience about, and being, for example, like with Google Optimize, great software for A/B testing on your website from the Google family. So it integrates perfectly with analytics, with Google Ads. And we've been even shared by Google itself on the post that we wrote about it. So that is the extent we're going into in order to explain how a given area is working, like this given software, or how can a specific type of business benefit from, for example, Facebook ads, or why do you need to take care of your blog in the long run in order to see the growth? Because that's a scenario that we are doing and living for years now, that the blog is an incredible generator of leads.
Yeah, 100%. And also give the values of the company, you share your knowledge, and I think, and you give value. And this is wonderful. Just to finish up, Tomek, can you give me a personal growth hack and a work business hack.
Whoa. No such thing as growth hacks, dude.
Okay, what I would say a life hack or something that makes life easier. Let's say that something like a cold shower in the morning, reading like before going to bed, things like this.
I very, very much recommend the book Making Friends and Influencing People.
Wonderful, from Dale Carnegie, isn't it?
Exactly. I've read it twice already. It helps a lot with human relations because at the end of the day, business, whether it comes to B2C or B2B, it's still done between people. So making sure you know how to talk to different people, making sure you understand what they're saying, even though it's not exactly in their words, but maybe in their body language, and exactly knowing how to react on it, and listening more than talking is the key in business that at the end of the day is going to help you in any kind of industry or sort of or size of organization that you are in.
I love it, and I would recommend to anyone, just go to YouTube, type Dale Carnegie, and I think there's like the 21 laws of being a successful man. It sounds fucking old and it's a little bit out of date. Yeah. And some stuff is very racist and very sexist, but the meanings of it, the structure is pure. I mean, this guy was from
30s.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, so it's a different mindset.
Yep.
Okay, Tomek, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to have you. Anyone, please go and check ladder.io, and we're going to be sharing all the links to in the group. And thanks so much for being in the show today.
Thank you so much. Great. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.